I'm going to attempt to do all this tonight in one take. Got time constraints. I'm going to cut as many videos as I can tonight as I'm outsourcing. Well, one of the billboards I'm outsourcing tonight on my 60s YouTube channel. Welcome aboard. It's Mr. DJ back, and the Billboard Hot 100 still in 1965. Let me go back up here. April 1965, April 17th, 1965. And my goodness, let's go through the top five. Man, 1965, fantastic year, man. One of the golden years, man. The golden rules. Yes, the British invasion, Motown. And speaking of Motown, got Shotgun by Junior Walker and the All-Stars at number 5. Down from 4. Oh, God, one of my favorite Petula Clark records. What a pristine voice she had. Just a fantastic voice. Very attractive woman, too. Petula Clark, I Know a Place, from England, from number 9 to number 4. That was a runner-up to Downtown. And Game of Love by Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders. Love that beat. And then that guitar chimes in. That's at number 3, up from number 7. Stop in the Name of Love at number 2. And I'm telling you now, as the British invasion is well underway in the spring of 1965 by Freddie and the Dreamers. But you know, it's all about these lost 45s. And let me bring it down. Although you're familiar with this artist, though, no doubt about it. He's had a couple of really huge hits on the pop charts. Had about 28 R&B hits, big and small, going into the early 80s, from the 60s to the early 80s. But talking about Gene Chandler at number 96, making its debut. Nothing Can Stop Me. Nothing Can Stop Me. Sort of a joyous record, a Motown-sounding record. Think Marvin Gaye on this record. The Motown influence. Love the horns, and well-produced record, produced by Carl Davis and written by, and I'll get into the songwriter in just a minute, Gene Chandler. His real name was Eugene Dixon. He started out in a group called the Gay Tones back in the early 50s. By 1957, he was in a band called the Deejays. And the Deejays featured another member. His name was Earl Edwards, and I'll mention him in just a few minutes. Around the late 50s, I can't give you the exact year, but Eugene Dixon was drafted into the U.S. Army. But when he was mustered out of the Army, he went back to Chicago and rejoined the Deejays. Deejays got themselves a contract with Nate Records in 1960, 1961, and they had their first record called Girl is a Devil. That was in 1961. Was not a big hit, though. But that was followed up by a session. It took place in the summer of 1961. 4 songs were recorded in that session. 2 of them by the Deejays. Now, keep in mind, by the Deejays. Night Owl was one song. It was service to the R&B charts, but another one was called Duke of Earl, with Eugene Dixon on lead vocals and the Deejays, the group, backing it up. Duke of Earl was co-written by Eugene Dixon and, of course, another member of the Deejays, Earl Edwards. But the song was written for the Deejays. But here's what happened. 2 of the producers, Carl Davis and Bill Shepard, they shopped the record Duke of Earl to VJ Records, big record label in Chicago back in the early 60s. If you know the record company history, you probably know all about VJ Records. They shopped at the VJ Records. Now, if I got this right, VJ Records, they bought the rights to Duke of Earl. And I guess somewhere along the way, Eugene Dixon became Gene Chandler, and they marketed the song under Gene Chandler's name as a solo artist, although it was actually by the Deejays. But it was by Gene. But it was marketed under Gene Chandler's name. Of course, made million seller hit. Eugene Dixon, or Gene Chandler, he was with the VJ record label until 1963, and then he switched over to Constellation record label. But Constellation went bankrupt in 1966, and Gene Chandler, he went over to Chess, he went over to Burns record label. He had a comeback hit in the summer of 1970. Remember Groovy Situation? Man, that was a scintillating record too, but so is this one. Now, before Constellation folded, Gene Chandler had about 2 hits. It was produced by, and I can't remember the name of the other song. It came out in 1964. It will come to me later. But 2 of they were produced by Carl Davis, written by Curtis Mayfield, and one of them is the song that's coming up, that's debuting at number 96. Nothing Can Stop Me. Gene Chandler. It went to number 18 on Billboard's Hot 100. It's a Lost 45. But this is just, I just put this up against most any Motown record. It's got that Motown influence. Hear a little bit of Sam Cooke in there too. Gene Chandler, Nothing Can Stop Me, on Billboard's Hot 100 for 12 weeks in the spring of 1965, making its big debut at number 96. Well, not a big debut, but it's a debut. Better than no debut at all on Billboard's Hot 100 of April 17th, 1965.